going on, everybody? I'm out here with my special guest all the way from Las Vegas. I got Nikk Legend here with us today. Nikk, I appreciate you hopping on, my brother. How you doing, man?
I'm doing phenomenal, man. Just enjoying the 105 weather out here in Vegas.
105, man.
Yeah.
So for those of you tuning in, what most of you guys wouldn't know is that me and Nikk actually go way back to 2018. We happened to randomly meet out in Beverly Hills, and he went the whole trading route. I went the real estate route, but here we are about to drop some massive value for all y'all today.
Awesome. Let's make it happen, man. Let's kick this off.
Hell yeah, hell yeah. So Nikk, you know, I wanna give you a compliment publicly, bro. You're one of the sharpest dudes I ever met, bro. Like, I know you're all
Appreciate
about
that.
bro. You're all about your systems, man. So tell us, man, what do you have going on right now, bro, in the trading world?
So right now in the trading world, this last year and a half behind the scenes, I've been working on the technology side, specifically with algo traders. And I had this realization that, when we actually think about banks, huge hedge funds, they call them quant funds. They're using technology to either supplement their trading or either, take these positions. And that's basically what I've invested quite a bit into the last year and a half. So I actually developed an algo, and me and my partner are doing quite well with it right now. It's crushing it. But I think that, with traders out there, there's that point where you kind of realize where you're going through your path, and everybody has those days where, their emotions play a role. And those are the days where you maybe don't feel like trading, you can't trade, or maybe you just become, emotional and you take a loss you shouldn't have taken. So with that, when you actually have an algorithm that's trading for you, it completely takes out emotions, and it's going to be something that, it's going to show up with the same rules, same parameters every single day. And that's what I've been working on the last year and a half, and really been putting a lot of attention on.
That's dope, bro. That sounds fire. That's the future right there, bro. That's the future.
That's the future. That's the future. So the first step to building this was I wasn't even looking to build a full algo trader. I was just looking to build something that could help me spot opportunities in the market. So it could kind of like signal and give me notifications when we're in supply or demand zones. So supply zones are going to be those zones that are really high where we should be looking for selling opportunities. Demand zones are going to be those areas that are really low where we should be looking for buying opportunities. And that was kind of like the first phase of it. And then it, ultimately, getting that down, the next goal is like, okay, let's make this thing bulletproof. So that's something where it's been a process, it's been a journey, but we finally have something that's performing well, and it's based off of trends. And yeah, it's been a fun experience for me personally. Before this, I never really developed any softwares, so it was a whole new world for me, just working with developers. And yeah, it's been extremely fun.
That's amazing, bro. That's amazing, bro. So let's peel that back a little bit, bro. That's amazing. You got that going on right now. And see, for the people who don't know, is that I know, like, you personally, you're one of those people, when something makes sense, you just gotta go for it. So let's peel back the onion a little bit, man. Tell us how all of that started, man. Take us through your entrepreneur journey from when you started to how you got to this level right now.
Yeah, so I basically grew up in a traditional family where, growing up, the main goal of my family was, let's get this boy to college, and that was my main goal. So growing up, I literally had, such a clear path of what I wanted to do, and it was super simple. It was get good grades. It was, I was a wrestler, so it was, be a state champion, be a national champion, so I could get a scholarship, because my family never talked about paying for college for me. That wasn't a topic on the table. It was just like, yo, you better do something pretty phenomenal so you can get scholarships. And I ended up not necessarily getting a scholarship because I went to an Ivy League school. It was Cornell University, but I did get financial aid. And that was really where I had an epiphany, where I got hurt with wrestling. I tore my hamstring. I was in crutches for a year, one of the most depressing time periods in my life. And during that year, I went from working out literally 4 to 6 hours a day, because I was, athletics. You know, I was that guy at the gym at 5 a.m. since I was in 7th grade. And I had all this free time. So I picked up a book, Think and Grow Rich, which I'm sure, you know, you probably read that one, Jay.
Amazing.
That was the first book right there. And, you know, I read that book, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, and that kind of opened up my mind to, you know, different possibilities after college. And one thing led to another. And I made this decision, like, eventually I want to build something and I want to be in complete control of my income. And, you know, it's funny how, you know, these small events will happen and they'll kind of lead you to these realizations. But the reason why I was so passionate about being in control of my income was because, you know, I watched my family go through a bankruptcy when I was younger.
Yeah.
And I saw what happened to people if they were only dependent on, you know, a job for income. So I was set on that. I didn't know what that meant. I didn't know if I was going to do trading. I didn't know if that meant I was going to open up a business. I had no idea. I just knew, like, this is what I eventually want to do, is be in control of my income. So one thing led to another. And I basically had different events that lined up. One of them was I had this, not necessarily a roommate, but he was in the dorm next to me. His name was Kang, Ivy League engineer. And I saw him trading currencies. And, you know, this guy's a smart guy. And I saw him make $300 in literally 30 minutes. And I was like, you know, for me, I never really made much money in my life. You know, at that point, I had a job the summer before. I was getting paid like minimum wage, you know, so I'm like doing the math. I'm like, all right, he made $300 in 30 minutes. It took me 40 hours, 60 hours to make that same check, you know, so obviously that enticed me. And I saved up actually for a few months and opened up my first trading account in college. I put in $2,000. This was like literally maybe a year and a half later, something like that.
What year was this?
What's up?
What year was this?
This was 2011, 2012, I guess. Yeah.
You've been at this for a while now.
Yeah, I've been at it for a while. And, you know, it's funny how everything comes full circle because that was my first taste and experience with it. And at that point, I wasn't necessarily in the mindset of like, all right, this is going to be my full-time income, but I knew that this was something I had to master eventually, you know? So, yeah, I mean, it was something that I was drawn to immediately. And I think that's a good sign for people out there. If you are extremely curious about something, you're drawn to it, you know, you should go after that, you know, and it might not be something that plays out right away. Cause I definitely didn't start making money with trading in 2012. It was something that took years and years until I finally, you know, had breakthroughs. And, you know, I'm at this point now where, you know, I'm freaking developing algos, which if you told me to do that in 2012, I'd be like, there's no way, you know?
No, and I've known you. I know you've done some interesting things along the way, man. I know you were
I've done
right. Oh, hold on. I think it cut off. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we're good.
Okay.
Yeah. So I've always had the mindset with business and entrepreneurship and trading that I'm going to be a lifelong learner with it. And to this day, you know, I still study religiously, whatever that new thing that I believe I need to study to get to the next level. So the other thought I had in college was I should really get an understanding of business. Like I should understand, you know, marketing, sales. I should understand administration. And that kind of led me to doing different business ventures throughout the last, you know, I guess 8 years. And yeah, I think it's good to kind of put yourself in that position where you force yourself to be in a position. And the only way out of that position is to learn a skill set and force yourself to grow. So create problems for yourself that you have to solve. And, you know, if you keep your eye on the goal, you're going to find your way out. So, yeah.
That's a fact. That's a fact. And one of the things that I think you're amazing at, man, is I've always been impressed by your network, bro. I know you've had some masterminds where some you paid for and some you built naturally, but I know you've been in rooms and multiple masterminds with some big hitters. Just off the top of my head, I know Ty Lopez was one. And I think that's something dope about you, that you were always willing to go out there and learn from other people.
Yeah, you have to. At the end of the day, I believe that people truly want to help other people. The ones that are super successful do not have a problem with sharing ideas, because they know that there's no shortage of success. There's an abundance of it. So, even to this day, I have, a mastermind, people that I'm working with, and, we're bouncing ideas off of each other. And, my mastermind groups have changed over time depending on what my goals are. But yeah, I think that that's the quickest way to get to where you want to go, because I can go the long route and try to be that guy that says like, hey, I'm going to do this on my own, which is how I actually started off. I did start off with that mindset of like, all right, I'm going to be self-made. And I think that's just stupid now, because there's so many resources out there where you can go and pick up a program online or join a mastermind group. And, that might be a few $100s, it might be a few $1,000s, whatever it is. That mastermind can lead to you having one idea, one belief, one new piece of data that literally allows you to elevate to a new level. And this was actually a concept that I picked up from a billionaire. His name was Bob Duggan. And I met him in Grant's office. So Grant Cardone, I worked at his office. That's actually where I went to work when I dropped out of Cornell. And, he had this quote, and he's, I'm going to paraphrase it, but basically, you're a few pieces of information from greatness, right? And I truly believe that. If I look at like time periods where I've leveled up, it wasn't like I was changing a ton. It was usually like a few missing pieces that allowed me to grow exponentially. So for right now, I believe, I'm at that point again where like I'm a couple points away, a couple puzzle pieces away from, maybe 2 years ago, my capacity in the vehicle I was in with what I was doing was maybe, higher seven figures, maybe 8 figures. But now like the pieces that I'm plugging together with this new puzzle set, it's putting me in the position to potentially make, 9-figure moves or beyond that. And that's how I think about things.
I love it. I'm gonna write that down real quick. I like that. What was it? I know you paraphrased it, but I'm writing it down right now.
So you're a few pieces of information away from greatness.
Got it. Got it. I got it. I had to write that down. That's a bar. I agree, bro. I agree, because most of the times, like even in a book, sometimes I read a book and I'm like, I'll take one thing from the book, and it might that might not even been the overall theme of the book. It was just one sentence that meant the most to me, that literally I implemented in my life. So that's dope. That's dope. That's a fire quote, bro. So I know you've done a lot of businesses. You said obviously, right? You've been on this journey for a while, man. What do you think is the hardest piece in a business, bro? I have my own opinion. I want to hear yours.
I would say the hardest piece with the business is just making sure that there's demand for the product and literally getting those first few customers. Mm-hmm. Like if you can do that and make sure that your product has demand, and getting acquiring those first customers at a rate that it's profitable, and you crack that code, now you're to the next step, which is like, how do we scale this up? And usually the scaling part is, there's going to be road bumps throughout the way. You're going to hit certain points in revenue where you run into a roadblock, and you kind of have to adjust and adapt to that roadblock to scale up even higher. But I think it's just the getting started part, literally getting the first customers in a way that's profitable. And, that ties into making sure the product has demand. So one of the things that I learned, because I had a media agency, it was Limelight Media. And that was a great experience that taught me a lot. Through that agency, I was able to get clients like Patrick McDavid, Conor McGregor. I had companies in there. We did a deal with Reebok. We had some decent names. We worked with influencers. But what it really taught me was, because one of the first things we did was we worked with local businesses, and those local businesses needed marketing plans. And right away, a local business would reach out. We'd reach out to a local business. And actually, one of the things that we would do in this agency, if anybody's doing an agency, you basically go into every single city at the beginning of the month, they just release every single new business in that city, right? So they give you the name, the phone number of the business, right? So I basically had like 6 or 7 sales guys that would call these businesses and be like, hey, we specialize in helping new businesses get their online presence up in 7 days. And, that was kind of like one of the products we offered was like this, instant brand builder. And when we would work with these new businesses, the sales guy would, sell them. I would work with them and basically give them a marketing plan and kind of do an idea. And the way that I come up with that plan was assess the different businesses that are already doing well in their niche or whatever their product is. But some of the times these businesses would be like, hey, I have this revolutionary idea. And, they spent 5, 10, 15, $50,000, $100,000 to make this new idea without testing the demand. And those were the ones that was like hardest for me to work with them. And sometimes it was sad, because I'm like, dang, like there's no proof of concept here and there's no immediate traction. So I feel like that's one of the most important things to test.
I think, and you know what's funny, man? You remind me a lot of Levi, like your personality. You guys are both very analytical. I'm the complete opposite, right? The whole personality chart, I'm a high D, So I'm more like, so for me, I think the hardest part of a business is the people, bro. Is aligning with the right people. I believe that's the hardest part, in my opinion. And especially in different industries, right? Because I'm sure in the type of industry you're in now, which you're currently doing, you'll probably need people around you that are completely different from the people in the last industry you were in. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I think that's a very tricky part that nobody teaches, because you can't teach having the right people around you. you can't teach that.
True. Yeah.
You kind of got to figure that one out on your own. So I think that one's, for me, that's the hardest part of my business, in my opinion.
Definitely. No, I would say that that's definitely a strong thing. Like when you're looking to scale something, you obviously need to build a team, and the strength of that team is going to obviously affect the growth of that business. The only way to offset that is just to have very strict and detailed, workflows and hats for whatever that person's doing. So then it's not like really like about a personality. It's more of like, hey, here's your stats, here's your targets, here's your checklist, and you could plug different people in. And theoretically, if the job description and, the training pack was good enough, you can get like a mediocre person to perform at, a decent level. But no, I definitely agree. Like the personality thing is huge, especially because, we're younger too. So I feel like since we're in this new wave of entrepreneurship is a cool thing to do now, nobody's taught us about necessarily the I guess it's like the standard procedures of business. And I feel like, we're hiring young people, we're young, we're partnering with young people, and, being young, a lot of people will fall victim to just like whatever it is, getting hot-headed, materialistic, ego, whatever it is, and I know we both kind of have probably had something in those lines in terms of a problem pop up.
No, I mean, it's funny because you're actually one of the first people. So when we met, I think you had just been, I think, if I'm not mistaken, with the education side of things, you were just been cracking 7 figures, and I had cracked 6. I had just started in my entrepreneurial journey. Did a couple flips already, the whole 9. But it's funny because I think going back to the whole young people, we hire young people because like that's not something that's taught. Is you're one of the first people that I saw that like kind of bootstrapped their team.
Yeah, I bootstrapped my team. I've done, basically I did hire like a network that I knew, which it had its downfalls. Now with, the people that work with me, it's not so much like that, and I kind of learned a lesson from that too. If you're working with friends or family, it could work. I still worked with my brother to this day, but I definitely have a different approach now. And I learned a lot throughout that process of hiring friends. And, I think that's one of the things that I took away from that with any new business venture I do, whether it's a deal or it's a potential venture, is, I always think of it as a test. So for it right now, I'm doing different tests. I literally have like one, two, three potential new business ventures that are partnerships, but they're all tests where we have, you know, a specific amount of time to see if this is going to work and flow the right way before we're, you know, inking up something where we're starting a new LLC. We're locked into something super long term. And that's one of the new things that I definitely picked up. And, you know, because you have to see if the demand's there for the product and if it's going to be worth both of your times. And also that test period is a good chance to see what's that person's work ethic really like.
So when you say test, so are you guys still going equally, like putting some money in, putting some effort in, and kind of just taking it from there, essentially?
Yeah. So for example, like I have one test I'm doing right now with this algorithm. You know, I'm basically looking to license it with the company. They're looking to license this software to use it with their client base. And, you know, it's a test where we have a NDA that they're not going to, you know, be able to steal the technology side of it. But at the end of the day, it's a beta run. You know, we're going to have them actually be able to use this with their clients for, you know, a few weeks and see how it goes before we're in a long-term, like non-compete kind of relationship. So it might be, you know, the capital side, if you guys are both going to put X amount into it, but it's something where I think people need to, you know, just think about new ventures in that way altogether, because with the business, if you go and are so hard, I think there is the persevering through obstacles.
Yeah.
And especially if you have a new concept that's never been done, you have to be able to identify, like, look, there's not demand in the marketplace for this product. So I'm not going to, you know, put in 5 years of my life trying to promote a product. One of the products that pops up in my head is there's this guy that had this thing for when people break their noses.
Yeah.
And this was years ago, so this should be fine. But people break their noses and they wear glasses. So he built something so like their glasses wouldn't touch their nose. And this guy spent like north of 50,000 on this product, and he's been working at it for years. And you just have to, you know, kind of know, like, all right, maybe you should, you know, look at a different business model that has a little bit more potential.
No, for sure. I agree on that. And I've run multiple businesses now too. And whenever I look at a new business venture, like a new one for me is trucking. I want to get into the trucking industry. And I look at something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And the two things I look at is, can I make 500K within a year, maybe a little bit more? And can I systemize it so that my my time is not 100% involved in it? And if both those answers are yes, I'm like, all right, cool. I think this is something I could do. But, you know,
Yeah.
I'm not going to spend a whole bunch of time and money to make 150,000 a year.
Yeah.
It just wouldn't make sense.
Yeah, definitely. So when you're approaching that business, what's kind of like your outline to kind of make sure this is going to make sense for you?
So first, it's funny. I was just talking this to somebody. So first, it has to make sense without the numbers.
Mm-hmm.
The concept of the business has to make sense. The concept of the business has to make sense. Like for the trucking, for example, right? If I'm driving to the gas station, I pass about 10 trucks on the way over there. That's the only way this thing is getting around in the United States as of right now.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense. Cool. Now let's look at the numbers. All right. Now I look at per one truck, how much can I get? Or per one unit, right? So if we're talking about just in business in general, not just the trucking, per unit, what is my gross per unit? Okay, gross looks good. What's the net? And what effort do I have to put to sell that much? And how fast can I scale? And I look at it in that order, in a sense.
Yeah. With that business model, that's something where it pops up in my head. Like it would be ideal to be able to, maybe it's not work with them, but, you know, have a contact that's in the industry already. Right.
Yeah.
So yeah, which, you know, yeah, is that something that you're working with someone that's already in that industry, or you have like a contact that's already doing well in it?
Yeah, I have a few actually. I have a few that are doing well. I'm kind of picking their brain. And the thing is, you know, the funny part is, man, is that everybody I ask, like, yo, what's the hardest thing? What's the hardest? They keep on telling me things that I don't feel are that hard. So I'm actually really excited to do it. I'm just like, that's it. So we'll see here. I should have my first truck here within the next 30 days. So I'll keep you posted on how the truck go.
Yeah, sounds good. Sounds good.
But Nick, I did want to ask you a question, bro. So
Sure.
I feel from the inside, right? From the inside, from the outside looking in, a lot of people wouldn't know this, but you do have a lot of things that you do that some people would consider, how would I say it, unorthodox, right? As far as like, the way you actually used to do like sales training and things like that. Some people would consider it unorthodox, right? What do you think is your X factor in business? I know you might have a few, but what do you think really separates you and your habits from what other people do?
Hmm. So I think I'm really good. I think I actually am good at building teams and, being able to look at uh, that part of it. But there was actually this test that I took, and it was a personality test.
Mm,
Forgot the exact name of it because it was 5 years ago, but it was actually in Grant's office. My manager gave it to me, and my traits showed innovative builder. So innovator was my strongest trait. So I've always, since I was very young, looked at things very detailed and try to like reverse engineer them. So like, I'll give you an example. When I was wrestling, without, I had good coaches, but just on my own, I went and decided like, all right, what's the best way for me to, be really great at wrestling? And I just looked up the greatest wrestlers, which at that time it was like Kale Sanderson, it was Iowa, and I basically looked at their training schedule and would go and break apart each section in of it, which was basically the training regimen, health, and strength. Those were like the three main pillars. So then what I did is with strength, I looked at what they were doing, but I would also go online and research, who are the top people that, actually give information about strength. And I would go and, tie in what they were saying with, the curriculums that were working for the best wrestlers. And I would kind of craft my own, super strength program. So in high school, I was actually, by the time I competed at state, and I competed at 130s, and I won a state championship at 130, a state championship at 125. I was walking around at like 5% body fat. I benched 270, and I was literally just a walking muscle. Like so that aspect where I broke it down into those three pieces, and then I went into the technique side, and I would watch what were the best moves or techniques that these wrestlers used, and those were what I would practice and practice. And for most people that are wrestlers, that's not typically how it works. Typically the coach will give you a move to practice and be like, hey, this is what you're working on. But I would kind of go and innovate, and I got to the point where I even created wrestling moves, which is like
yeah.
cool. And I remember doing one of them in a competition. I had two of them specifically that I would do in competitions.
Yeah.
And when I did them, the crowd, it was like in the finals, semifinals, they're just like, the crowd goes wild, like, what the fuck was that? And yeah, so I would say I've always been pretty innovative, good at building teams, working in teams, and I have a lot of empathy for people. So I'm good at understanding kind of what their strengths are and maybe where I can help work with them. And I'd say that those are, combining those things would be the X factor.
That's what's up, bro. That's what's up. Is the test you're talking about wealth dynamic?
Uh, it was basically, there was four main, I'm not sure exactly what the test name was. I just remember that I was innovator and builder. I could, find it,
No,
put the
no.
link in the description,
Somebody
but
literally sent me a
yeah.
text. Someone literally sent me a text today. They're like, "Oh, take this test. It's dope." And it's called the wealth dynamic test. I'm like, "Yo, what are the odds that someone sent it to me today and you're talking about it right now?" So I'm gonna be mind blown if that's the case.
Test innovator builder. It was the core values core values test, core values index.
Right.
And that was it. It's by Taylor Protocols, I believe.
How much you benching now? I have to ask real quick. I had to ask. I know you still be in the gym. How much you benching now?
Nah, dude, I'm not lifting heavy like that anymore. No. Yeah, after wrestling, my priorities shifted. I try to stay healthy. So, last week, I got in 10 miles throughout, Monday through Friday, running 3 days. So I'll kind of split it just depending on how my body feels. I'll get, some exercise, lifting 30, 40 minutes a day and call it a day. Yeah.
No, that's what's up. That's what's up. Hey, health is wealth, bro. I think that's one of the vital keys too. After I started working out again, bro, I've been feeling amazing, bro.
Yeah, there's definitely something where like, for me now, the thing I'm paying attention to know if I need to put more energy into it is how my energy is throughout the day. Am I waking up and having energy throughout the entire day? So, I can go 9 to 9. I can go 9 to 10 actually. Like a full work day, and I know I can do this because I don't do these anymore like in person or anything, but I used to do like workshops and whatnot. And
Yeah.
I could go from 9 to 9, literally same tone, same energy level. And that's the thing that I pay attention to the most for my health is just how do I feel?
Right now, I know you're a very like I said, like systems kind of guy. What does your routine look like now?
So it depends. If I'm waking up and trading New York session, which I have to wake up at like 4 a.m. Pacific
Yeah.
Standard Time. But the things that I try to kick my day off and end my day off, those are very, very standard. So one of them is getting some type of workout in. It doesn't have to be a 2 hour, bicep curling kind of deal, but I need to get my body moving. And I do like to listen to something that makes me think or just even reflect. So that could be something as simple as an audiobook. It could be something reading a book. It could be something on YouTube, like random actually last night and this morning. I was listening to Greg Batten, who talks about, he has a lot of different theories, but, I'll try to get in something that makes me think analytically. In the morning, I'll try to get my body moving, and then I'll actually go ahead and write down my goals and write down things that are on my mind, as well as something I'm grateful for and what I'm looking forward to. So the journaling, the working out, and then the thinking, and then I basically will finish my day with the journaling, as well as like trying to listen or read something that makes me think. And yeah, those are the things that I keep pretty standard throughout the day. It could look different each day.
No, for sure. Journaling is the hardest part for me, bro. I don't know why. I just find journaling so difficult. It's funny.
I don't know, man. I think for me, it just really helps me out because I've gotten a lot better at this. But growing up, I had tons of anxiety, and I would overthink things a ton. So I've worked through that, and when I say like I would analyze something, I would literally go and look at it from like every single angle of what could potentially go wrong, what could go right. And, that's very dangerous for people to get into that because it will stop you from taking action. And there's also strengths that come from that too, which is having the ability to have pan-determinism, being able to, talk to someone and understand their perspective. So journaling just helps me get thoughts out there and put it on paper and get it outside my head. But yeah, growing up, I had insomnia. I was up at night thinking, and yeah, journaling has helped me out a ton.
Man, that's actually something I was actually I was wondering. So I'm glad you brought it up. So when you say journaling, right? Do you just just write out whatever's in your head at the moment, or do you try to basically write out some thought out thoughts?
No, I'll literally go and I'll have like thoughts that I just write and put down. And it would be something where I try to keep it positive for sure, but whatever's in my head. So I'll start off and just do a rapid fire, and I could text it or write it. But so like this is, for example, June 23rd, and I just woke up like, hey, I woke up today. to a world I manifested, the exact position of total freedom. I'm grateful to have the opportunities in front of me. I'm grateful for the people in my life. I'm going to focus on taking steps in the right direction with the people in my life. Every single day I get the opportunity to wake up and do exactly what I wanted. This is amazing. And then, all right, I am. And then, yeah, that's what I was feeling that day. But it doesn't always look like that. So it's a mixture of like, I guess things I'm grateful for, and then me just acknowledging myself for the things that are in front of me, because, the misconception that people have about success or materialistic things, which I've been at the point where my dream board had every single materialistic thing that I wanted, the BMW i8, the Hollywood Hills view, Rolex, like all of that stuff right there that was on my dream board at once. I can tell you your actual emotional state does not change from being broke or having everything you want. It's going to be pretty much about the same. Obviously, being in that better environment is going to be overall better for you. But I've definitely realized that if you can't enjoy what you have now, it's not going to make much of a difference once you get what you want. And that's why you see like those documentaries of super ultra successful people that get everything they want. And then, something happens where, they get into drugs, or just mental health issues or whatnot.
Because they're not very fulfilled. That's what I think it is.
Yeah. Yeah. And, it's doing what, it's the fulfilled side, but it's also like, the process is something that should be enjoyed. And, that's something that I learned in wrestling, like, as well. And like, I learned a lot from just athletics, but I learned in that same thing in business as well. Like, I actually enjoy the process of what I'm doing every day, and try to set like micro targets, micro goals. And that's something that I actually get a lot of excitement out from as well. So, yeah.
Amazing. That's amazing, bro. That was a lot of key value, bro, in my opinion, bro. I think the people are really gonna get a lot of value from what you just said. I know I did personally, man. And just because you mentioned the Hollywood Hills, I gotta say, bro, you gotta do one of those parties you used to do back in 2018, man.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm gonna be doing any party. I mean, I might be in Bali, so
You gotta do some parties, man.
yeah, I mean, you could pull up to Bali though. Yeah. So I'm looking at, I'm in Vegas. I'll be here for, the rest of the year pretty much. Once Bali opens up, I'll look at getting a spot there. And I think that I've always kind of had the idea of traveling, and, I've traveled here and there, but I think right now is the perfect opportunity for me to actually go and experience different cities. And, right now I still have that thing of like, trying to experience things. Like, I've moved in a lot of different places just because I had an inkling of a desire to try it out, so I tried out New York, tried out Miami, tried out San Diego, LA, and now I'm in Vegas. And now I'm just like, all right, I kind of want to do this international thing for a bit. I'll come back to the States, and but that's what I want to do next.
What's your favorite so far out of all the places where you lived at?
I actually really enjoyed I did enjoy San Diego, just altogether. Like, the vibe was good. You had the beach. It's a little bit more laid back than LA. And the thing is, each point that I visited those different cities, I was at a different point in my life too. So that's something else that definitely affected like how it was. Like, I don't think I really got to experience Miami because I was literally like working like 12 hours a day. Yeah. So I think San Diego is cool though. Yeah.
That's what's up. You know what's funny, bro? I've always like I've been talking about that lately too. I think that was the next move for me as well, moving abroad, man. And earlier this week I had somebody on the podcast. Her name's Shannon Steele, super big hitter, 9-figure earner, and she was telling me she lived in Africa for 4 years.
Yeah.
And now you're telling me you're about to do it, and I think I'm the kind of person, I don't believe in coincidences, bro. So
yeah,
that's gonna have to be the move for me once South America opens up. I want to do South America.
So there's, we all have like a social construct that we kind of have like limitations of like what's realistic. Yeah. And, as years go on, for me, like it just keeps on breaking down. I'm like, well, why do I live in America? Because that's what, you know, my parents did. And, you know, I hear of people coming to America, but, you know, I'll tell you what, like, I know in Bali, like, you know, literally for what I'm paying here, you know, having a masseuse, a chef, you know, like same price, you know,
Like the,
I'm living at a place where people pay to vacation. I'm just living there full time.
yeah, you can't go wrong with that, man.
So, you know, obviously I haven't done it yet. So I'm gonna test it out. And if I like it, cool.
Yeah, no, that's dope, and that's a big move, bro. That's a big move. But the thing is, and I think that speaks also to where we're at in this world in right now, right? Because we're here, two young entrepreneurs talking about, oh, okay, yeah, we're gonna move to another country. That speaks volumes of where we're at today. Like, because not once were we thinking, damn, how is that gonna affect my business? It's not.
Yeah, it's not. I think yeah, just with like, especially with what I'm doing now, it's completely just, I just need the internet. It's not, I do think there's a point though, where I will have to come back to eventually go and do, you know, every aspiration just to kind of like, eventually like have an office and do that deal. Like there will be a point where I do have to come back to get to that goal, but that's not necessarily like my focus right now. So might as well experience it now. And, yeah, that's kind of like where my head's at with it. Like I will come back eventually. But we'll see. Yeah.
Nah, that's what's up. That's what's up, Nikk. And you got an amazing story, bro. Anybody who's out there watching this right now, where could they find you to learn more about you, bro? What's your Instagram? What's your Facebook? Or what do you where
So
do
you
you
get,
reach out to you, man?
yeah. So check me out on, so YouTube, Nikk Legend, Nikk Legend, Instagram, Nikk Legend, Nikk Legend. And I'm on there. And, yeah, that's where you can reach out to me, connect. And I love connecting with aspiring entrepreneurs, aspiring traders, aspiring anybody trying to make themselves better. So yeah.
Amazing, amazing, bro. Well, I don't want to hold you up here for too long, Nikk. Do you have if somebody who's out there watching this right now feeling inspired by your journey, bro, what is the best one most solid tip that you can give them on starting their journey, being an entrepreneur?
Okay. So this would be my tip is wherever you're at right now, it's obviously your starting point and you have an idea of where you want to go. You have to really try your best to make those thoughts connect with your emotions and do your best to not have that what if attitude or maybe this could happen, but really approach those ideas with the feeling of like, this is done. It's already done, and go after it. And if you can, you know, get that to emanate from just your emotions, your belief, and start taking those small action steps, acknowledge your wins every single day, and understand tomorrow's a new day where that extra piece of information, that extra piece of data could literally be the thing that sets you up for an exponential year. And it's one or two actions away, one or two pieces of data away. So I would say if you could approach your days like that, you'll get it. You'll get it eventually.
That's a fact. That's a fact. That's a bar. Well, Nikk, yo, I appreciate you hopping on, my brother. I appreciate you taking your time. And you already know we're gonna have to talk after this about all this.
Yeah, definitely, man.
Too, bro. Appreciate you.
I'm down. All right. Take care.